to HYVA, which stands for HYVAssistant.com. And today I'm excited because I'm going out trying to find out from successful entrepreneurs who believe in the whole virtual business lifestyle, how you can have your business be run virtually by having a virtual team of people, and the kind of tools that you need to make use of to make this possible. And I'm excited because today I have Rosalind Lemeau from Vision Strategy to come on the show to talk to us specifically about how she does that. And before we start that, I want to always give the audience the context as to why this makes sense to the audience to listen to this and how it applies to the guest's own business. So in order for you to understand how this topic is going to apply to you, I want Rosalind, please just introduce yourself to the audience and give us a brief intro as to what you guys do, first of all.
Sure. Hi, I'm Roz, and pleasure to be here, Owen. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
And my company is called Vision Strategy. We work primarily with nonprofit organizations, and we provide social media focused online strategy and web development. So what we do is help nonprofit organizations use social media for social good. We work with all different size organizations, from the big ones like Greenpeace and Oxfam and Center for Community Change to much smaller organizations, and we provide them with both strategy for how to do online campaigns, hands-on outreach, blogger outreach, that kind of thing, and web development and web application development. We're also a certified Facebook app developer.
Okay, so, and does it go from you just working with them and determine what their strategy will be to actually you guys helping them implement some of the ideas?
Yeah, we're full service, so we do the whole thing. Sometimes we'll even step in and sort of almost act like a temporary web team if an organization needs to scale up for a big campaign or a big event. And sometimes we just provide the strategy, and sometimes we just provide the web development. It really depends what they need.
Oh, nice, nice. So now we've got some feedback as to some backgrounds to your company and what you guys do. Let's go and dive into the content as to how you guys have been able to successfully set up a virtual office.
Sure. I can tell you a little bit of background, which is that I've actually worked in a virtual office for different organizations since about 2003. So I worked for the first virtual workplace that I worked in was for MoveOn.org, 2004, 2006, and that was the first time I saw you could have a team that worked really, really tightly together, communicating constantly. Really high efficiency team, and everyone working from home. We had people all over the country, and our tech team was actually all over the world. And I was inspired by that because it allowed MoveOn to really recruit the best people. There was no constraint, or if you were wedded to living in Chicago or Australia, fine. You can still work with them.
And that's the beauty about it, is the fact that you're not constrained to only the amount of resources, in this case people with the necessary skills in your own location. Now, because of the power of the internet, you can basically have teams working for you all around the world, and you can pick and choose the best people and the best fit for your company. But that said, I mean, that's the good side of it. I'm sure there are pros and cons to the whole process of the virtual office. So let's go into some detail with that too as well.
Sure. Yeah, I think finding the best talent is a big one. Another one is being able to be family friendly and flexible.
Yeah.
Something that I learned a lot from Joan Blades, who was a co-founder of MoveOn, and also a group called Moms Rising. And Kristen Ralph Finkbeiner wrote a book called The Motherhood Manifesto, all about the wage gap for moms. And basically, if you look at the wage gap between men and women, most of it is around motherhood, and a lot of that's around women mid-career choosing to stay home because they're faced with this terrible choice whether to continue to have a career or be with their kids. And I really believe that the 21st century workplace should eliminate that choice for people. Having to make that choice. I think that one of the great things about a virtual workplace is moms and dads can stay home, flex their work hours to match, their family's needs. They can share responsibilities. So that's something that I really am happy to be able to offer through our virtual workplace. It also lets people pursue other things. You know, sometimes people want to go to school or, you know, have some really interesting outside interests that you know, they need flexibility for. My business partner, Cheryl Conti, is a pretty well-known blogger at Jack and Jill Politics. It's one of the top 10 Black political blogs in the country. And you know, that actually takes up a fair bit of her time, you know, and she does a lot of speaking events and she's on TV all the time. So us having this flexible workplace, you know, she can do those things and, you know, still be a full participant in the business. It's really efficient. I mean, you might think it's not efficient because you can't just peek over the, you know, cubicle and shout to the next person, but we're so work focused that we're able to really kind of have very streamlined communications. The downside of that, you know, some of the cons are our communication is so work focused that we tend to be very results focused in our communications, and that doesn't leave a lot of room for brainstorming and, you know, sort of getting each other excited about ideas. So we have to, you know, make a big effort to try to create some of that space. And I can talk a little bit about ways that we do that.
Yeah, and before we even go into how you foster the communication, especially when you're working virtually, I'm also trying to get back to, I mean, some people might just have that need to always, you know, have people around them working in the office. How does one beat that challenge? Because, you know, what we're talking about is not what people are used to. So there has to be a means for one to, you know, to get past that whole, you know, challenge is making them feel like, you know, they need to have you working with them in an office. What did you do in your case to get to this point where you were actually able to do this?
Yeah, for me, it was never a big challenge. I'm sort of personality-wise suited to it, but a lot of people aren't, or, you know, just have been in a traditional workplace so long it just seems bizarre. I think there's a couple answers to that. One is that some people just aren't ever going to be suited for it, and I would say a small percentage of people who just, you know, need to go. They like the commute, they like the collegiality of the office, they just like the noise, you know, and that's okay. You know, not every person is a fit for every workplace. So there are some people for whom it won't work. And the other thing is co-working space. I have desks at a co-working space, and at this point, probably 60% of the folks that I work with have a space that they can go to that's in a shared workplace. That they don't necessarily go every day, but they have a place to go.
And when you say co-working, just so that people understand, I understand what that is, but please explain that just a little bit.
Sure. Usually it means you pay a few $100s a month for a space. Sometimes it's a permanent desk, sometimes it's a shared desk, or sometimes they'll be just interchangeable. You know, you go in and you find a spot, and it's usually kind of an open work plan, like open space, and there's some desks, and folks from, you know, either who are independent workers or, you know, virtual companies like ours. I'll pay a few $100s and basically share the cost of a pretty casual workspace.
That's like if you have, you know, you're working at home in your own home office, but you needed to maybe have like a meeting room, something that's more formal, then that's like something that's outside of your home that you also will pay for, and from time to time go there. But the only thing now is actually shared between yourself and other entrepreneurs that might not even be from the same company.
Yeah, and for example, the space that I'm in, there's probably about half a dozen other companies there. You know, the smallest is 2 people, and the largest is I want to say about 7 that are in the space regularly. So it's really kind of flexible. Month to month, inexpensive.
And you said something about, you know, how